calling the children of earth with love in their heart, with love in their heart. My soul never loses hope, because your love always teaches me the solution lies in hard work. The solution lies in hard work. For my Lord is offering a harvest of wonderful blessings. Make you, small son, a good Christian. Make you, small son, helping others is helping myself. Your words now are so crystal clear. Your teachings have no frontiers. To see all these transformations, we just have to put love in action. Helping others is helping myself. Your words now are so crystal clear. Your teachings have no frontiers. To see all these transformations, love in action.
Wherever you are, glowing seeds of love, as our Master Jesus taught. You will see that behind every sight there's a flame shining bright, tiny spark created by God. I will follow your path, Father, 'cause nobody's alone in life, and the scars of my destiny will be healed by your love. Disseminate wherever you are, glowing seeds of love, as our Master Jesus taught. As our Master Jesus taught.
Another day, another flower, another minute past the hour. Someday the sky is blue, and suddenly we can't see through. And every day is a fresh new start, when the sun turns off the moonlight. We get another chance to choose the road we want to cruise, and on the other side of the mountain there's always a whole new road, a new beginning calling after every end. There are a million reasons to pick you up after every fall. It's always a win in the new round. On the other side of the mountain there's always a whole new road, and the new beginning calling after It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round.
When I go in to pray, I look for my good Jesus. And when I close my eyes, I can feel all His light. I open my heart for all He has to say. He shows me the best way I can enjoy my life. Jesus, Jesus, they never we apart. Please bring all your light to shine inside my heart. Jesus, Jesus, I can be content. I have your endless love and your protecting hand.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. I'm very happy to be here tonight with all of you and take the opportunity to learn a little bit more about the gospel according to Spiritism. So, everybody is welcome to our public meeting. So, before we start, we'd like to show some announcements. And for instance, like turn off your phone, your cell phone notification if it's possible. Find a quiet place so you can enjoy the meeting. And the format of our meeting is 30 minutes presentation followed by questions and answers. So everybody is welcome to put your questions in the chat. We also offer a spiritual treatment that we have magnetized water. So for that, we'd like to ask you to put aside a container with water, and all you and your family can be benefit from. So everybody bring your water, stay here together, and in the end, the good spirit will magnetize the water. So just remember, our meeting is transmitted every Tuesday at our Facebook page, Spiritism Canada, our Spiritism Canada YouTube channel, also Conference America, Continental Americas, and Wednesdays, retransmitted by Kardec Radio Facebook page and YouTube page. So if you'd like to know a little bit more about the Spiritism, we offer a free course called Get to Know Spiritism, and we're gonna have a new class starting soon in the fall. So everybody is welcome to come and join with us, learn a little bit about the Spiritism. So we also offer, if you want, this group offer the gospel at home. What is gospel at home? It's a moment that you take during the week and we pray together. We can orientate how to do this, how to bring Jesus Christ to your house for a few minutes and learn a little bit more about his gospel of love. So we're gonna have a group that's gonna help you out for to establish a time to make this a very good moment with you and your family. If you want, you can, there's a form you can go and inscribe, put your name, we can contact you after. So everybody in the family can participate, even though if you have little kids, they can participate with us. Sometimes kids talk and move a lot, it's not a problem. Okay, everybody is welcome to be here with us tonight. Oh, I have a special invitation. We're gonna have a Alta de Souza fraternal meeting. And this year we're gonna be in Winnipeg. And the theme was gonna be Charity the Way. So May 20 and 21st, exactly the holiday, we're gonna have this meeting. And who is invited? Everybody. It's a free to charge. You can go there. We're gonna meet, learn a little bit more about the Spiritism Center, about family, vices and this depression. And we also gonna train, we're gonna do a fraternal campaign that we go every home and ask for donations. So if you want to learn a little bit more, contact us. We are doing a couple of people going there. Everybody in Canada is invited. Outside of Canada too, if you want, if you live United States, in Brazil, in Europe, anywhere, you are invited to come and stay with us for 2 days. It's going to be a spiritual treatment, a spiritual retreat. So everybody is welcome. So tonight we're going to have the our speaker is going to talk about the charity according Paul. Is in the Spiritism, Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 15. Without charity, there is no salvation. So, to be with us, to clarify a little bit more about this, I'd like to invite our sister Veronica. And welcome, Veronica, to be here with us.
Hi, Publio.
How
How are
are you?
you? I'm good. I'm
I'm
good.
okay.
Thank
I'm
you.
okay. Here in Toronto is a very beautiful weather today. They look like the snow is melting, so everything is going to pointing to the spring. So actually, officially today is the first day of spring. So you
Is
can see the happiness in every face in this Canada that used to had a very big winter time, and now everybody's smiling at in the streets. Look like we are just blowing the flowers. So welcome
exactly.
to
Thank
our
you.
meeting.
Thank you. Yes, it is springtime. Time for renewal is when nature renews, almost a rebirth. And what a good moment for us to today. But we have to start with our prayer, I believe, right?
Exactly.
So,
That's
um,
the reason I'm gonna invite you to do
yeah.
a prayer, initial prayer tonight.
Okay, let's do our opening prayer. Thank you, Publio.
Thank you, Veronica.
And in this in this vibration, right, of joy for the spring arriving. So let's join. Let's get together for a prayer. Okay, let's unite our hearts and seek for our inner peace in where this moment where we can try to put aside our daily struggles and difficulties and try to focus on the light, the peace, tranquility that comes from above, that comes from our loving Father. And let's thank to the Creator for this moment where we can learn, study together. We can enjoy nature. We can enjoy a new season in nature, in a new season. Why not for our lives, where we can renew our energy and our motivation towards turning ourselves in better human beings, improving ourselves. So let's thank God for this opportunity that is available to us in every minute of our existence on earth. Let's thank God because we have the resources needed to improve ourselves that comes from the teachings of Jesus. Dear Master Jesus, we thank you for living on earth and in our hearts your message of love that can is so powerful, that can take us to the light, to a better world. We ask, please, that your messengers of light stay with us today, in this moment, to be able to involve everyone that is watching this study live or on demand. Please help us to receive the intuition that will bring us enlightenment, peace, and courage. We ask, dear friends, that stay with us during this study, and to our brothers and sisters, incarnated and discarnated, that you can also join us in this study. Stay with us, dear Master Jesus, in good spirits, so be it. Okay, so let me share my screen here. Just 1 minute. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so as Publio already mentioned, tonight we are going to start the spring season talking about charity. And I think maybe if we had to choose a season for charity, perhaps the spring would be the best season to represent charity, although charity should be present in our lives in every single season of the year. But today we are going to talk about a lesson from Paul that is in what Paul, the Apostle Paul, thinks about charity. And Paul of Tarsus is a very special figure in the history of gospel, in the first apostles, because Paul didn't actually live with Jesus. Paul actually was a persecutor of Christians. He was a Jew, a Pharisee, so he knew the law, right? The law of the Jews. He was a promise to actually be one of the big leaders of Judaism at that time. So there is a book called Paul and Stephen that's translated in English that talks about the story of Paul of Tarsus and Stephen, which is another apostle of Jesus who also did not meet Jesus on earth. That is very interesting because it brings the view of the spiritual world about the story of Paul, the life of Paul of Tarsus. So there is information there that the history from humans don't actually have some details. So it is a very interesting and it is a inspiring book for us who are seeking self-enlightenment, because Paul is a good example of someone that was born on earth and full um, of pride and try and even trying to use force and power. So many Christians actually die on his orders, but in the same life, he was able to turn 60 degrees. And once he found the truth about the good news from the gospel, he really changed his life, and he worked during his whole life to enlighten himself. He worked for self-improvement, and he brings here in these letters his notion of charity, which is exactly the he could see so well the teachings of Jesus from there. So this is the letter from Corinthians. It is in Corinthians chapter 13, and it talks about charity. And sometimes when you read the Bible, you might see the word love instead of charity. And there are some explanations about the translation because it comes from the Greek, and the word in Greek, it could mean also charity, but it's a very deep love, right? It's a true and clear and pure love. So it starts by saying, so in this letter, Paul starts by saying, if I speak all the languages of the men and angels, but do not have charity, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. So it's saying that even if I know how to speak many words, right, and I speak well, I'm eloquent, if I don't have charity inside of me, these words are noisy, right? Because it's resounding. It can sound eloquent, but it's just noise, right? It's no noise with no content. So charity, so it's not enough to speak many languages. Let's see what else. If I have the gift of prophecy and grasped all mysteries of and all knowledge. And if I have faith in that can move mountains, but do not have charity, I am nothing. So we have two parts here, right? So we have the first part, which is about the gift of prophecy in all mysteries and all knowledge. So the knowledge of science, the knowledge of life, the knowledge of the mysteries. So, but with no charity, all this knowledge is empty. It lacks something if we don't have charity. So it's not enough to have knowledge. So we have so many spiritist books, for example, and even if we retain inside of us all this knowledge, if I don't have charity, I would have all this knowledge inside of me I maybe benefit from, but I could have the power to actually spread this knowledge. But if I'm not charitable, I might just keep that for myself. So what's the point in that? The second part is faith. So Paul even says that we could have a faith that could move mountains. And I guess all of us know that's pretty hard to move mountains, and probably we can't move physical mountains. But what are these mountains, right? These mountains are mountains of vices and maybe weaknesses that we have, things that are so big. So our envy, our anger, our pride, right? Our selfishness. These can be considered big mountains, sometimes volcans, right? More close to a volcano than mountains. And if we are faithful enough, and in order to destroy off these bad mountains that are inside of us, it won't be enough. So many times we might say, I am a good person, right? I do no harm to anybody. um, so I should be happy, or I should find peace. But that's not enough, because it's not enough to not do evil, but we have also to be charitable. So let's see what else that we can do, right? So Paul even says that if we decide to give away all of our belongings to feed the poor, and even if uh, we deliver our body to be burned, that means if we are sacrificed, right? Think about the early Christians, right? That were sacrificed. So if we are if we do that, we die for the love of Jesus, of our faith. If we don't have charity, that's not enough, right? None of these would be of any use to me, so it won't be useful to me to give the belongs to the poor if I'm not doing that in a charitable way. So it shows that giving material things is not enough charity too, right? It brings the point that we need to do more than that. And this is actually, the giving material things is usually the easiest type of charity that we can give. But then Paul told us that that's not enough. But then he says that we need charity. His letter is pretty clear, saying that we need charity. But then, what is charity? So Paul helps us to explain what charity means to him. So he says that charity is patient, charity is kind, and charity is benevolent. So this means that a charitable person is patient, kind, and benevolent. So being patient means not rushing through things. Being kind, it means give the best of ourselves and try to be the best we can toward others. And being benevolent is having a good eye toward others, right? We have eyes and ears where we try to see the good that exists in everyone. He continues saying that charity. So now he's gonna say, okay, so let's go back here. So I'm gonna say, we can say, baby, I am patient, I'm kind. Most of the time I'm kind, right? I'm kind with everybody. I'm not like a person that uh, just mistreats people. And I try to be benevolent. So I think I'm in a good path here I'm in a good path. But then Paul goes further, saying what charity is not. And so let's see in our checklist, right? How we are going towards this charity journey. So charity is not envious. So we should not be envious towards anything, right? It is not harsh, is not hushed or hurried, right? So it doesn't try to speed up things or get things in our own speed and not respect other people's limits. It's not full of pride, right? We try to act in a way that we are not trying to show off or show how good we are or how better we can be than others, but we have charity has no pride. It does not dishonor others. So we don't seek to put people under our shoes or cause be bully or cause um, or mistreat people in general. And it is not self-seeking. in terms that a charitable person doesn't act trying to get benefits above everything, right? It's not an action in seeking for our own benefit. So Paul here gives us a short checklist about things we should maybe analyze inside of us to see where we can improve, right? He continues saying that charity does not take offense or become upset by anything. It does not suspect evil on others. So charity does not take people's action taking personal. It's basically taking personal, right? So a charitable person doesn't take people actions that sometimes are not the best choice as a personal matter, or get angry or upset, or have a general mistrust on people, on the world, right? We don't suspect, we seek for finding what is the good in everyone. And as we know, we are all creation of God. And God would not create one single human being, one single creature, without having something good in it. He created us simple and ignorant, right? So most cause of the evil comes from our ignorance from the truth, ignorance from the laws of nature, from the divine laws. That's where the evil comes from. But inside of us, there is a seed of the good, because even the most evil person knows when they are practicing evil, right? So very rarely in this world that we are now, people would know very clearly when they are doing things good or bad, because we have the seed of good inside of us. Charity does not then just rejoice in injustice, but rejoices in truth. So charity walks side by side with truth, and injustice would never be a path in order for us to achieve charity. So they don't walk on the same road. And then charity always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. And here, my friends, you can see the word always. And we have a good friend uh, here, a good spiritist friend, that always say that when we see the words always, never, spoken in the spiritist, by a spirit, right, by our big figures, that the good examples in the world, we should look with attention, because it's always, it means that with no exception, try to protect, trust, hope, and preserve, persevere. So now he ends the message by saying, now these three virtues, faith, hope, and charity, remain. So he's telling that we should keep it with us, keep cultivate our faith, hope, and charity. But the greatest of these is charity. So there's no doubt that Paul really put charity above everything, right? All the virtues and above all the evil. And then Kardec in the Gospel unfolds this message, this letter of Paul, telling us, explaining with more detail and clarifying points, right? So Paul places charity above faith itself, because charity is within everyone's reach. The ignorant and the learned, the rich and the poor, because it is independent of any particular belief or system. So Kardec is bringing this in light because we we are grown in a faith, in a belief that faith can save us from everything. Uh, Faith can save us from hell, can save us uh, from confinement. So we sometimes people is faith because they have faith in God. They believe that they get material advantages. They don't need to, because God can gift us anything without perhaps working, demanding from us some action. But here, in most of that, it says the idea at the time of Kardec was that if you were not for a certain religion or a certain faith, you have no salvation, right? So here, what Paul is telling, Paul is not saying that we have to be Christians. Paul is not saying that we have to be Jews or follow a certain belief. What Paul is saying here, that charity is the way. Charity is the way for us to achieve enlightenment, to achieve inner peace, to achieve heaven. And that was what it was about, right, at that time. So Kardec brings that because charity is at everyone's reach. Charity is very inclusive. We can be ignorant, we can be learned, right? So we can have lots of degrees and be very textbook smart, but we could be very ignorant, but we still we can still practice charity, and is independent of our particular belief or faith, right? Charity is at everyone's hand. I could be at 99 years old and be and practice charity. I could be 1 year old and practice charity. Paul defines true charity, uh, and also, so he says that charity is not only displayed in beneficence, which means do good things to people, like being a good Samaritan, right? So help with grocery bags, open doors, or give money. But more than that, the gathering of all qualities of the heart in goodness and benevolence towards one neighbor is charity. So charity can be as simple as be silent and be a good listener, wherein someone needs uh, a shoulder to cry or somebody to listen to. It could be as simple as a smile on the street to somebody, or it could be a help as well. Okay, so charity can be practiced in many ways. And in the book, in the Spiritist book, question 886, the Spiritist, Kardec asked the Spirits about the definition of charity. So, what is the true meaning of the word charity as Jesus understood it? And the Spirits teach us benevolence towards everyone, indulgence towards the imperfections of others, and forgiveness for offenses. So, this definition, explained by the Spirits about Jesus' teachings on charity, reflect everything we saw in the letter of Paul to Corinthians, right? So it is working about being indulgent, being benevolent, in forgiving offenses. Not, remember, charity doesn't get upset, right? Don't see evil on others. So it is it is they are very aligned. Further on question A76, and then when we go talking about charity and practicing charity, charity should be present in our lives. And somebody might ask, well, how do I know how I should act to be charitable? Sometimes we might have two options, right, that seem to create a good outcome, but we don't know exactly what to do. And then that comes the idea of the law, of what is right, right? We have the human law, but we also have the natural law, which is the divine law. Is the law? These are the is the law of the universe that um, this law that directs all of our actions and how the universe is in equilibrium, in balance. And so, outside the rights consecrated by human law, which we must follow, right? What is the basis of justice founded by natural law? So he recognizes that natural law, it's much bigger than the human law. And then the Spirit said, Christ has told you, do unto others whatsoever you would have them to do unto you. And they said, God has placed in the human heart the rule of all true justice. So he that he desires that everyone have their rights respected, right? So what he's saying here is that God planted the seed in us that we have the desire that everyone have their rights respected, right? So anyone who is a little bit conscious and reasonable will consider that we would like to reach that, but sometimes we have difficulty making decisions for that. So but the idea is that if you are uncertain, the spirits are teaching us that in these situations, if we are uncertain about what we should do for our neighbor, ask yourself what you would want your neighbor to do to you. And they said, God could not give you a safer guide than your own conscience. So we really need to investigate in our conscience, look inside and reflect what is the right thing to do. The problem is many times we don't know ourselves so well, or we don't want to see ourselves so well. And it's pretty hard to see our weaknesses, is see the dark or the bad side inside of us. And sometimes we pretend that it doesn't exist, and we live our life well, right? In the days that are we don't have pressure, and the days that are moving well, it's a warm day, nobody cut me in the traffic, my boss is in a good mood, the food tastes good, family's in peace, the kids are behaving. So it's easy to be good in that way. But the moment that we face a test to see if really the evil is not inside of us, then that's when things change. And then when our real self shows up, right? So that's why this inquiry, what should I do? Well, think about how you would like people to do to you, right? That is the best way for us to evaluate what we should do. So, do I want to be cut out in the traffic? Do I want? No, I don't. So, I should not do that as well. Do you want people to not be patient with me? No, I would like to be. People could be compassionate and patient with me because I make mistakes, but I don't have time for that, right? I don't do that. And so in these last few slides, I brought a message that complements the teachings of the gospel. Is in the book Living Springs. Is a message from the Spirit Manual by the medium Chico Xavier. It's called The Breastplate of Charity. And it starts with this letter from Paul to the Thessalonians, and it says, put on faith and love as a breastplate. So Paul is inviting us to use faith and love to wear, to outfit ourselves with faith and love. And a breastplate is a armor, right? It's a piece of armor that is used to protect our physical body, our organs, right? Our vital organs. When people in the medieval times, I guess, would go to war, right? Would go to in combat. So you would protect our vital organs. So he's saying that faith and love are protectors of our vital organs. So let's see what he's trying to say here. So, for the success desired in our mission of love, in the company of Christ, the most important thing is to protect one's heart. Oh, we need to protect our heart. Oh, no, no kidding, right? We all know that we need to protect our hearts. But let's see what he meant by that. If we do not cloak the source of our sentiments with vibrations of ardent love, utilizing a high level of comprehension in the areas of the purifying experience in which we struggle in the earth arena, it will be very difficult to accomplish the task that the Lord has entrusted us. So we need to gear ourselves with sentiments. We have to gear our sentiments with vibrations of ardent love. That's what it means by protecting our heart, is protecting our sentiments with vibrations of ardent love. And we need to understand in our experiences the struggles we face, right? So we need to reflect on them and try to find the strategies to overcome these struggles. And the struggles are, what are these struggles? So these struggles are frequent irritation when faced with ignorance. Because this only postpones the advantages of our beneficent teaching. So irritation, we in lack of patience with people, we only delay, right, our learning. Excessive indignation when faced with weaknesses only destroys the fragile seed of virtue. So we need to avoid indignation, uh, because sometimes we see towards things that we think are weak, we are over it already, right? Maybe it's even lack of patience, because we think, oh, I already learned this, I don't have patience, I don't want to, we don't want to interact with people that sometimes we think are weaker or less than us. So that doesn't help us to develop our virtues. Frequent anger in the daily struggle may increase the number of our enemies without any benefit to the work to which we have devoted ourselves. So, what do we gain from anger in our daily lives, right? Probably only we gain enemies if we direct our anger toward others. Excessive strictness when faced with persons who do not know the benefit of discipline may produce counterproductive effects due to the lack of education in a particular environment. So being too restrictive excessively that may not help people with lack of discipline, but perhaps if we hold hands and help people in better ways to actually walk together and improve together. So Emmanuel finishes this message saying that thus understanding that Christians are in a real state of struggle and that at times we are challenged by suggestions of uncontrolled irritation, inappropriate indignation, unjustifiable anger, or destructive strictness. The apostle of the Gentiles, Paul, this prescribes the breastplate of charity as a protective sentinel for the central organs of the expression of life. And the organs of expression of life are our sentiments, our emotions, right? That's how we express ourselves in our lives and to others. So it is crucial to arm the heart with infinite fraternal understanding in order to focus on our mystery. And what is our mystery? Our mystery are our tasks that God trusts us. And it's nothing grandiose, right? It is our mystery is being a good family member, get along with our family members, people we work with, people we see on the street, in all our social interactions, perhaps in the school, is in at work, at the gym, in the church, at home. So we have to use this fraternal understanding in every situation in our life, and then conviction and enthusiasm of faith are enough for a good start. So, conviction and enthusiasm are important, but in order to continue our ministry and finish it successfully, we cannot do without patient, kindly, and invincible charity. So, my friends, we need to not is actually we charity is not enough either, right? Because we must embrace patient, kindly, and invincible charity. So, charity is our weapon to conquer the difficulties we live, right? So, charity is the power we have to change ourselves and to improve every day in our lives. And I think this might be the last slide. Yes. So that's the teaching for today. So it's an invitation for us to reflect about charity in our hearts and what is taking the way, right? What is in the way that is preventing us to be charitable. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed the talk. So I think we have to bring Publio back, right? So then we can discuss a little bit further if we have time. Oh, you're muted, Publio. Please.
Sorry. So, like, say thank you for the explanation to clarify a lot of things. And when we always heard about this first letter from Paul to the Thessalonicenses without charity, and it's a very important thing to understand because there's a couple of comments here, questions. I know we are short in time, but it's very important to know that Paul is the guy that made the biggest transformation in his life to follow Jesus Christ's path. And he put the charity as the principle, the most important thing that we have to do to let's say to go to heaven, but to get the enlightenment that we really need to do. And there's a couple of questions. And Rod, he said about Paulo de Tarsus, and he asked a quick two questions, three questions, but he said that
Oh, we just lost Publio, and I lost the question. But while oh, okay. Are there
yes,
any? Okay,
sorry.
that's okay. Go ahead. Do
So
you want to read?
are there any acts of charity that's more important than another's? That you told something, but I'd like you to uh, just clarify a little bit more.
Um, so if it's Kardec said
Yes.
wisely, the charity is at the hand of anyone, right? So that means that if charity is at the hands of anyone, everyone can be charitable under their capabilities. So, is there one charity better than the other? Probably not, because if it is the best we can do, that's what is important, right? So in this reincarnation, we are born with a different set of skills and responsibilities, and even sometimes we have more material. We are wealthier than others. Sometimes we are wiser than others. So we have to be charitable with the abilities we have. So in that sense, there's no better or one type of charity is better than the other, right? The best charity is the one you can do.
Very good. And there's another one very interesting because nowadays with the social media, we see a lot of times people doing something, and it's like Paul is saying, it's only in your just. I put a comment here because Jesus Christ talked about the charity, and Paul reinforced this. So some people have this charity on the lips only, right? I'm gonna do something and show off. That's the point, and especially now with the media, eh, many different platforms, and people doing this to, oh, I'm a good person, Veronica. See, you can see many different videos. I'm doing something for the people that need. So uh, when Paul said it's, or the sometime, and I think it's Rod make a comment about this too. Like, do you have to show what I do, or I don't need to show? When I show, it's a bad charity. Let's say a bad charity. How Spiritism see this?
I think the answer is in that in that sentence of the message of Paul that says charity is not self-seeking, right? So it depends actually. Sometimes people would put things, good things they do in social media because they want to spread the to motivate other people to do the same, right? To multiply the seeds, the good seeds. Now, if I want to post, now, if I'm, charity is not self-seeking, so if I want to post there just to show off, or to show how good I am, that's not that something that's not bringing benefits to anybody. I am being self-seeking, right? I'm being selfish because that only benefits me. My I'm feeding my selfishness, right? My ego that I am good, but it's not helping others. So it depends on our intentions, and sometimes we don't know people's intentions because I could tell you, Publio, oh, I'm gonna put something nice in in the social media because I want people to feel motivated, but deep inside, it's because I want people saying, "Oh, hi, good. Oh, look at Veronica. She's so good. She's so good girl, right?" So that's what I want to hear. Is not because, but people might not notice, right? People might not see it because I know inside, and above all, God knows inside of us. So when we go to our performance review for this reincarnation, when we discarnate, it's gonna be there, right? So, oh yeah, you did all this good, but you just did that to promote yourself, right? So you got your recompense there already. So there's nothing to you
So I'm gonna finish. Sorry, we have a
finish.
short time, but there's one question here that's gonna be my last question. But because I said in the beginning, we're gonna have the Alta de Souza fraternal meeting when in May, and we're gonna talking about the charity, the way, right? And the
Mhm.
person here is Rodrigo. He said, "Oh, how come?" Let me put here for you. He said, how come we became more like Paul, Paul of
How
Tarsus?
can we become more like a Paul? Yeah.
Yeah. Is there
Well,
any magical trick to do or what to do?
well. Oh, we lost Publio again, but I'll answer. Well, Paul had to cross the desert towards Damascus, get blind, And after he was reflecting about many mistakes, he was not even sure if what he was thinking he was doing was right. He got blind. He saw Jesus, and he spent 3 years in the desert trying to understand himself. Right? We, I don't think we can do like Paul, but we can experience this change as Paul. Right? Paul was a dramatic change, right? He changed in one reincarnation. We have our path through many reincarnations. And there is an interesting message. I think it's from Emmanuel. I believe that it's about for spiritists saying that if you have to look back 3 years, if we did not improve in 3 years, nothing, we are stagnated, right? So our improvement, God is so good toward us because He knows we are slow, right? It takes time, and God is pure love, so He's pure patient, right? Is a patiently waiting for us. And every mistake we make or remake, we'll have another chance to repair. So it's only by trying, right? We should not exclude ourselves from the chances, the opportunities that are given to us every minute. So perhaps if I made a bad choice this time, so next time I can try another, and certainly we'll have other chances over and over again, right? So it's just trying.
Like say thank you, Veronica.
Thank
We,
you.
we have enough. We have enough subject to talk 1 more hour, no problem at all. But we're
Yeah,
gonna have another. The next week we're gonna have a continuation of this same subject, and
exactly.
it's going to help us a lot to understand this. We'd
Yes,
like to say thank you very, very much to bring all this to us, clarifying everything. And I think I'm going to, since we are starting the spring, I'm going to start doing something right now.
good idea. Me too.
Thank you,
Let's do it.
Veronica.
Bye bye.
Bye
See you,
bye.
everyone.
So, so now we're going to start our spiritual treatment. So, what is a spiritual treatment? Spiritual treatment is is a transfusion of a spiritual energy with the goal of assisting with a physical, emotional, and mental balance. Pass help us to restore a state of harmony and peace and replacing negative energy with healthy, positive energy. In order to receive the best benefit from passes, please follow the audio instructions and remain in prayer. You may close your eyes if it's possible to help with the mentalization. During the pass, the water you set aside will absorb the spiritual energy that your family and you can benefit from. So now we do a initial prayer for the treatment and announce that it's going to be the last prayer too, a closing prayer. So thank you. So we'd like to invite you, like they say in the beginning about the charity. Charity is love in action. Like Jesus Christ's life here, all the time loving us, all the time practicing the charity. And that's the way we're going to start our prayer tonight, asking for the protection from the good spirits, all those that remain here, helping us to enlighten our lives, to get better day by day, transforming us in all little actions, and ask for protection today and forever. Thank you, Lord, for this opportunity to be here.
Let us now prepare ourselves for the moment of the passes and the magnetization of water. Let's now calm our hearts, breathing in and out. Pay attention to your body. Focus on your breath and let yourself be carried by this energy. Let your thoughts pass by without judging them. Let them flow. Allow this light to be the beacon that guides you, and allow these words to penetrate your energy. Make each word an anchor of gratitude, faith, and trust. With the purpose of healing, which takes away my faith, healing every feeling of separation, of pain, let it all dissolve in this moment, leaving only love, gratitude, and trust. We ask God for the presence of our guardian angel and the friendly spirits who welcome us into this enlightened environment of our Spiritist Center. We open our plexus of love and forgiveness by mentalizing a light surrounding our hearts. Find a quiet and comfortable place to begin the mentalization process. Remove all worries from your thoughts. We ask that during the pass you breathe slowly and deeply. Let your body relax and surrender yourself to a deep meditation. Calmly imagine divine energies in soft and colorful light surrounding you in an environment of peace and spiritual warmth. Entrusting God with your most intimate desires, raise your thoughts to Jesus and the emissaries of the spiritual environment. The pass begins with the cleansing of your soul. Imagine a waterfall of crystal clear water pouring over us, removing all the feelings that keep you away from faith and trust. Feel the energy of this water bathing you and deeply breathe in, feeling peace and harmony. Allow this water to wash away all the impurities and spiritual larvae, washing away all the sorrows and resentments, any feelings of hatred and revenge that hold us back and cause us harm, not only from this life, but past ones as well. Now visualize spiritual doctors around you, applying magnetic cleansing passes, sanitizing your spiritual body of all sadness and negative energy. Mentalize these negative thoughts and feelings being washed away, evaporating from your soul, like water evaporating into thin air, and being carried far away from your mind. Surround yourself with the faith that bathes your being, bringing clarity and lucidity, rebalancing every cell in your body. May the water envelop all pain and bring the clarity of opportunity that chooses peace. The answer arises in our hearts, freeing us from all evil and freeing all whom we have caused evil into and who have caused us evil. Washing away all the connections that bind us. Even though we may not understand, we are freeing ourselves from all that causes us harm. Feel this cleansing penetrate your soul and release. Now that we are spiritually cleansed, imagine yourself surrounded by the light of love from the hands of Jesus. At this moment, sing words of faith and gratitude, being faithful to the light that exists in me, planted by the zealous Father. Imagine the sunlight that surrounds and enraptures, freeing us from the chains of everything that holds us down, strengthening your faith. Allow yourself to trust in this light, surrender to it, involved in pleasant feelings and feeling relieved to receive the strengthening lights. Mentalize your spiritual mentors now applying divine light for the strengthening of your mind and your emotions, leaving you feeling emotionally revitalized. Let us now mentalize the magnetization of this water. May we mentalize all the friendly spirits, magnetizing this water and filling it with everything that our bodies, minds, and soul need, so that it may be of help to us when we drink it after the Pass. Thank you, God.
So, I'd like to say thank you to everyone that stayed here, make comments, questions. So, just to remind you, you can follow us in our Facebook page, Spiritism Canada, and YouTube, Spiritism Canada too, and also the group Path of Light in Instagram. So everybody will be welcome next week in the same time. And remember, tomorrow on Wednesday, this program, this conversation will be repeated, retransmitted by Kardec Radio in the same time. Have a wonderful night, a beautiful week, and happy spring to all of us. Have a good night. Thank you.
Come on, my friend, come to the light. Here with all our heart and soul, let's follow Jesus Christ. Let us preach the peace, let us preach the love. And this world already wonderful will be much more. Get up, look at the sky, in the earth where the flowers bloom with sunshine. Let's hold our hands and be together on this road. Then we take peace and love and spread it to the world.